Yo, what is up? New episode of Critical and Thinking Podcast. Ty Barnett.
Ian Harris, what is going on?
Yeah. You know what? We got a lot to talk about. We got
Right.
a lot to cover. We're waiting for some people to jump in here. Ian Harris has joined. I see
I'm
that.
going to share this
Yes.
as a.
I don't know how
I'm
to
going to
do
do
it
a
from here.
watch party.
What up, Corey?
Whoa.
Corey
Hey.
is there. Hey.
Start.
So yeah. We got I know last podcast there was a lot more gruff in it, and we always promise ourselves every week that we're gonna make it lighter. So we're gonna. Can we talk about the movie? Do you mind if we?
Yeah, let's talk about.
we can.
Let's start with.
Okay.
Let's start with the movie, and then we can go on to.
What up, Bruce Jingles?
To some other shit.
Yeah, so we're gonna start with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Ian
What up,
just saw
Corey?
it today. I saw.
I actually saw it on the weekend.
You saw it?
I
Oh,
saw it
you
on the
did.
weekend. Yeah.
That was
yeah.
an old thing.
No, I meant to type were.
Oh.
I saw that afterward. I saw it.
I was honestly when I saw your post, it said an hour. It said you were halfway through the movie in an hour, and I'm like, how the fuck is he gonna make this podcast? And
Yeah.
he's at the movie. So
No, I meant to say we were halfway through the movie.
we
and
gotta
I said
have Bruce on.
and I
one
said
day.
we are halfway through the movie. Well, all you
Okay.
gotta do is click. It always thinks you are Bruce.
Hilarious. I know. Hey, Bruce, you know that, right? They for some reason face
Yeah.
recognition for some reason thinks that we look alike. I don't understand.
It always says, would you like to tag Bruce Jingles and Moby? And
And
we're like,
it-
what the fuck?
And the thing is, I don't even get that with Bruce. Like
No.
Bruce is a dark chocolate. I am caramel at the darkest. At the darkest. I don't understand how they keep messing that up. But
Yeah, and I am pasty, whereas Moby is ghostly.
hilarious.
Um,
What up, Corey? Bruce, we got a couple people, other people chimed in.
I got
So
some
go.
people over here too. Thank you, people on this side. We got So let's talk a little
What'd
bit.
you think of it?
Spoilers. So we're gonna tell you right
Oh.
now. Spoilers. We're gonna talk a little bit before we get into heavy shit. We're gonna talk a little bit about
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino's ninth movie. If you have not seen the movie and you care about not having it spoiled, I'm telling you, leave now because we will be talking about it.
yes.
So to start this off, to be honest with you, I didn't realize this was only his ninth movie.
Yeah.
I would have thought, this dude's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Like,
1992 was Reservoir Dogs, I think.
that's weird that he only has 9 movies.
But he
does
does.
he Uber
he
the rest of the time.
He makes. I'm sure he's doing okay though.
It's like-
Let me say before we even get started, I was just talking about this. You know what I like about Tarantino, as a human being, that the Zucker brothers do this, the Coen brothers do this. They do this thing where people who like family members or people who have helped them out in the past, people who are been in their movies or whatever. He always finds a role. or s-
Tarantino.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you look at like Michael Madsen's in this for a very short period of
I
time.
know.
And the thing about it is this. Michael Madsen, I hear he's really hard to work with right now. They say that like there's people they say you could get him for $10,000 to be in your movie, but no one wants him in your movie because he won't show up. He might be drunk. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if this is true, but I've heard.
I
these
was
rumors.
just about to say like they probably go pick him up from rehab to
Right.
shoot his scenes, but you just
and it's like
verify that.
and it's like you hear that and you go, man, that sucks. But the thing is, as when you do something, you do a movie. I still get. I mean, they're tiny. I still get like $3 checks for voiceover work I did for.
I just got a check
for a
for
movie.
21 cents.
Right.
I just got it.
But
I'm
imagine
cashing
if you're
the fuck out of it.
slightly
too.
bigger role, and you've got 100 movies, and something as big as a Tarantino movie that plays all the time and gets licensed all the time.
Right.
You must, even the small role people are probably still getting $1,000, $2,000 a month or every quarter on all these different little
Yeah.
movies. So when I think about when the Zucker brothers put their mom and everything, or that's like a retirement plan. Every time Airplane gets picked up somewhere, I don't know if she's still alive now, but Charlotte Zucker would probably get a few $1,000 in the mail or whatever the deal.
Oh, I'm sure, dude.
Like-
And they play that on AMC all the fucking time.
So I think that's really cool when I see these people and they're like, that's cool, man. That guy was there when he was starting out, and he continues to put that probably because he likes to work with them, but also because it's like, hey, man, I'm gonna give you a role. You're not working too much right now. I'm gonna put you.
But
in
I
here,
also
and you
I
always-
also think that people like Madsen also look at it like, well, shit, this is the only dude that'll put up with my shit. So let me Yeah, I'll take the role. Cool, because I wasn't really doing anything,
Right.
and I know you understand how I am, and I don't want to fuck this relationship up.
Right.
So yeah, I think but that is great actually.
It's
that
like
he
a
did
mutual
something.
respect, but I just think it's cool that it's like, you know what? Forever, I'm going to always make sure you got a paycheck coming to you down the road. I think that's pretty cool. And and he gives a lot of people starts. He's given a lot of in this one there was 3 or 4 kids of people. Andy McDowell's daughter was in it.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Willis's daughter was in it. Like a lot of these people, he put their kids in. And I thought that was
look
cool
for
too.
Tarantino to be directing Die Hard 9.
Yes, exactly. Starring Rumor Will. It's just a rumor. Rumor Will. But yeah, it's I think that's cool. So the thing is about this movie, it's the
What up, Frank? What up, Vince? What up, Lil Rob?
now here's the thing I don't like about Tarantino movies. And I'm going to qualify this again. I like it and I love it at the same time. He breaks rules that you can't break. And I think that's cool.
Like what?
Well, okay, good example. In this movie, we're an hour and a half in of a regular narrative movie. And all of a sudden, it goes 30 minutes. It becomes a narrated movie with Kurt Russell going, and then the guys came over here, and then they went here.
Yeah.
And he was feeling rough at this moment. And you're like, wait, where the fuck did this voice? And then it goes for like 30 minutes of them explaining their feelings.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to a movie. And you're like, you can't just, if I did
Nah,
that, if I did
dude.
that, they would be like, if I made a movie and all of a sudden they would be like, what the fuck was that? You can't just do that. And the other thing he does is this. He does like exposition. If I wrote a script and I said, Ty's feeling angry, they'd be like, it's a movie. You have to show Ty feeling angry. You can't just write that he feels angry.
Right.
We don't know that watching it. That's called exposition. Or if you say stuff in the dialogue like, I'm feeling angry right now, don't have him say it. Have him feel it. So when he does stuff like shows somebody on the screen, he just puts a thing up that's like, Steve McQueen. You're like, really? Like, he didn't do that with all the other characters. This is Bob Angel. Like, it just out of nowhere,
but-
freezing. It's like Steve McQueen. It's like, show us that it's Steve McQueen. Don't freeze and put a fucking Steve McQueen. But on the other hand, there's sometimes when you want to break a rule
Yeah.
and you feel like you can't break a rule and you do some bullshit to so you don't have to break the rule. Now I can go, fuck you. Tarantino just put up their name and then narrate it. So if he can do it, fuck it, I can do it.
But that's why I think it works for him, because you do look at the movie and it does kind of like, oh, okay, now we're in on it too. I mean, even though we know they're supposed to be Steve McQueen, but that's great. You kind of threw that little nugget in for us to be like, hey, it's Steve McQueen. You know, so
It was weird though. He did it with Steve McQueen, but the person he's talking next to Steve McQueen is supposed to be Connie Stevens.
And he didn't.
And he didn't put it with Connie Stevens. I just saw it in the credits. I'm like, Connie Stevens. Oh, that's who that was.
Yeah,
Like, why'd you say Steve McQueen, but you didn't say Connie Stevens? Like, I don't know.
Exactly that, and I like how when you first hear, you know what, Pacino.
Right.
I wish Pacino would have done more. Like, someone saw the movie before I did, and they said the same thing. It was like, man, you could have done so much more with Pacino.
Right.
And that's the only slight that I had, because his character, to be that agent and to try to convince this dude, you know, of what he should do. And we know this because we've had the agent talk. We've talked with agents about what we should do and da-da-da-da. So to me, it resonated like, oh, yeah, I know that guy. I know that dude right there. So I want to see more from this dude when he's trying to convince him, hey, man, I'm just telling you, your character gets beat the fuck up a lot.
Right.
What do you want to do? Do you want to change it up like this? And I could hear these conversations being played out in the city. So that's why, like I said.
And also, you always go, well, what's his motivation? Is his motivation really to get his client better? Or is he just like, I'm getting money.
Yeah, I'm trying to cash a check. I want to cash a check.
And I'm going to send you to Italy. And then the other hand, I'm like, is this supposed to be like, was he supposed to be like Clint Eastwood? Because, you know, Clint Eastwood did all those like.
Yeah, but you know what they said? I read it somewhere. They said he modeled Brad Pitt's character and Leonardo DiCaprio's character off of fictional combinations of a few different people. But I do remember Clint Eastwood's name coming up in that article. By the way.
Because he went and did the spaghetti westerns, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he was.
Dude, my mom loves those things. By the way, my mom loves. I'll call my mom and she's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Just watching TV." I'm like, "What are you watching?" She's like, "A western." And I'm like, "What? Really?"
Yeah.
But because as a kid, I remember them being on in the house.
Right.
But we always really thought they were just old people movies. It was like, oh, we're going outside. Can we go outside and play? I don't want to watch this.
That's why she did it, to get you outside the house.
Pretty much.
Ooh, Clint Eastwood. Oh, shit.
Dude, that and Gunsmoke. Shit like Gunsmoke. Never fucking loved watching it at all, but my mom loves those shows. So
yeah, I will say that this is the one thing. Brad Pitt, first off, both those dudes, they can fucking act, dude.
Yeah.
I kind of hate saying Brad Pitt's a good actor, because it seems like but fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. My wife hates. She likes Tarantino movies, but dragging her to a dramatic movie is kind of hard. And usually she doesn't like anything that's too deep or whatever. She went, yeah, and she's like, damn, Leonardo DiCaprio can fucking act. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, dude, that dude acts like he was fucking good. And the scene where he has to act, and the little girl goes, "It's the best acting I've ever seen," and he's like,
"Fucking Rick Dalton, motherfucking Rick Dalton."
And the scene in the trailer where he just goes nuts, that shit's hilarious. But I was like, damn, because he had to act like a guy who just learned to, you know what I mean? He was good in the scene for what he was doing, but he also had to play the guy that was good in the scene as well as the guy that was bad in the other scenes. Yes. Like, that was pretty fucking
That's why I said, man, like, and it was, to be honest with you, it was part of the reason why when I saw the previews for the movie, I said, okay, I'm going to go see it. One, because it's Tarantino. I'm going to at least go, I got to go see it. And I love the fact that he didn't say the N-word not once. Thank God. It was no reason.
Didn't?
No, not hilarious. Oh. No, not once.
Well, were there, yeah. I'm surprised that they didn't have Manson say it.
I know, right? He was like, we got to get it in there somehow. But then when I saw the cast, here's my thing with Brad Pitt, bro. Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and it's another one in there somewhere. Hey, Kurt Russell, like I'm a Kurt Russell fan. So ever since Big Trouble in Little China,
right? Like
I've been a Kurt Russell fan, so I'm always rooting for this dude to still be in movies. So Tarantino's kind of giving this dude like a reemergence,
right?
Like even because whenever you think you're not gonna hear from Kurt Russell again,
right?
You see Kurt Russell in a movie.
I like we talk about. I like Michael Madsen. Michael Madsen's always fucking on point. Dude's always good.
So when I saw the cast and like Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm like, man, I'm at least gonna go see Margot Robbie and all these people, right? But Brad Pitt to me, like at first you would think, like you could watch him in the Ocean's movies and think that he's mailing it in,
right?
Like it's just really just him being a Hollywood dude that's robbing some shit,
right?
But this you watch and you're like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. There was a part of me that was like, man, please don't, come on, man. Again, we already said we were gonna spoil it, but part of me was like, man, don't kill this character, bro.
Right.
Don't. Come on, man. Let this character live, bro. Yeah. He's too fucking cool, not to fucking like when he goes in and checks on the old dude. He's like, nah, I think I'm gonna go in right now and check myself. He just. It was a really good movie, man.
I will say this: it starts slow. It takes a long time to build, and there isn't a lot. The only story or character arc in the whole thing is the character arc of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
The rest of it is literally a day in the life
of everybody else.
There's no real story arc. There's no real beginning, middle, end. Again, as a film, from a film standpoint, if I did this film or if you read the script or whatever, and it wasn't Tarantino, most people would be like, they would throw the script away. They'd be like, there's no story arc. It goes too fucking long. It switches up genres 3 different times. Like, it's all over the fucking map. But he does it, and you go, shit, that was cool. Like, because most people couldn't get away with doing that.
But that's why I say when you've carved, like, some actors carve out their niche as actors, singers carve out their niche as singers. This dude has carved out his niche as a director.
Right.
And so when you see a Tarantino film, like Corey brought up The Hateful Eight.
Which is the only one I haven't seen, by the way.
Oh, man, you got to see it. It is really good. It is long. But it's also, like I said, you give it so much of a pass because it's Tarantino, and you're like, I know this is going to have a point, and I know this is going to be a reason for this. What up, Julius? What up, Ron? So, to me, I think this was it. And you know what, man? It's one of the movies where if you live in Los Angeles, you watch it just to see the landmarks. I'm not going to lie. I was watching like, oh, I live right around the corner from there. Or, hey, I know where that spot is.
Yeah, we eat a lot at El Coyote.
Yeah.
And when they show El Coyote, my daughter goes, hey,
yes.
hey, El Coyote. I was like, yeah, there's a few spots on there. I was like, oh, that's right by my house. I'll check that.
I'm actually gonna go. I googled the Tate House.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go look.
Oh, nice.
I know it's a gate, but in the hills. I thought it was closer to where I was.
Right.
But it's not. So I gotta go. I'm gonna go. If not today, tomorrow.
I liked. There was it was funny too. In the middle of the movie, my daughter leans over and goes, "Dang, Tarantino stole your playlist."
Hilarious. It is a dope soundtrack. Yeah. It really is good, man. And plus you start trying to compare the two to see what happens. So again, should we talk about the end or should we just go on to something else? We're gonna have.
Well, I mean, yeah, let's not totally spoil it.
Okay,
For
we're not
everybody.
gonna spoil it for you
But
guys.
I will say this: everyone I've talked to wonders where the hell is this going, because it follows the Sharon Tate, Roman Polanski murders.
That's right.
And it's the Manson family, and that's what it's about. And
You know what
these
it
two
does
guys
do?
live next door to Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski.
You know what it does do is that because you already know what's going to happen historically. You already
Right.
know. So we're watching this movie with
Waiting for the historical thing to come through.
Yeah, exactly. So I will say that it definitely is.
It's let's just say it's an alternate reality. Like you're trying to figure out. Wait, how is this gonna? How are they gonna put these characters in that scene?
Yeah, so
they're not really
we
there?
don't have to.
Yeah.
So just go watch it if you're gonna watch it. It's actually really really
It's good, and honestly, the performances are great. And you know who I
You know, I'm
really
starting to get
liked?
a really crush on now is Margot Robbie. I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get a little crush on her a little bit.
She's not ugly.
A little bit.
You know who I thought was really good, who I freaking loved, and I was like, who is that girl? And I found out that she's Andy McDowell's daughter, is the girl that played the little one that brings him to the Pussycat. The one that he keeps picking up he keeps seeing at the little one, the one that he picks up that takes him to the Manson family.
Oh, that's Andy McDowell?
That's Andy McDowell's daughter.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
But I was like, who is that girl? Because I've never seen her act before. And
Yeah.
she was really charismatic and really cute and really funny, and like her scenes were really great. And I'm like, I've never even seen this girl
Dakota
before.
Fanning tripped me out, too.
I didn't know that was Dakota Fanning. Oh, there's a couple in there where I was like, wait, he was in that? Tim Roth was in it, but apparently he got cut. He actually put in the thing, cut. So I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
But he still put him in the credits.
Got that day
again.
rate. Got that day rate.
But yeah, so it was good, and the acting was great.
What up, Mel?
Oh yeah, Jackie asked, how do you guys feel about the remake of the show? Let's see, if you go up on his kids, I'm getting sick of it. How do you guys feel about all the TV shows we grew up on being remade?
You know what? It depends honestly on how they do it. Because it's a good and bad thing. If it's such a great show, you're like, no one's gonna fuck with that. No one's gonna make anything better than that.
Right.
Period. But then there's the nostalgia of you saying, man, I remember the feelings I felt when I saw that show. So it's a double-edged sword to me, Jackie. I think if you can do it well, sure, take a shot of it. But understand that people that grew up on it, they're not really going to look at it the same way. Like, you know what? Almost perfect example. Jackie, did you watch the live at a studio audience, the ABC thing? Did you watch that?
No.
Should watch it, dude. It's Norman Lear. He did a live a recording of the Jeffersons and All in the Family.
Jefferson's on Ice?
Hilarious. What was that?
Frozen movie.
I know it. God damn it. Because it was it's gonna fuck with me. But anyway, they did a live version of that in front of a live studio, like they used to do sitcoms back in the day. But they had All in the Family. Woody Harrelson was playing Archie. Marissa Tomei was playing Edith. I forgot who was playing Rob. Who's the guy that played Meathead? His character.
You're talking about.
So that, and then Jamie Foxx played George Jefferson.
Rob Reiner.
And then Anthony Anderson played. So they did that. My whole point to all of this is that when I watched it, I thought it was gonna be shitty. I was like, man, I'm not watching that shit.
Well, I also don't get. I mean, there's one thing like a remake, and then there's the redo. Like when they have, what's the fucking one? My daughter watches it, and she watches it because she knows it's so fucking bad, and she never saw the original. But what's the goddamn? I never watched the original one with the Olsen twins.
Oh, Full House.
Full House. There's Fuller House now.
Oh yeah, no, I don't watch it.
It's on Netflix. It's like God. It is. If you thought Full House was bad acting. Jesus Christ! Oh wait, she said 90210 is back with the originals. Are you? Shitting me?
No, I know that does not look like it's gonna be good, Jackie. Not at all.
What are they gonna do about Luke Perry? Put him, just wheel him out?
Stop.
Although Luke Perry was in.
Yeah, he was in it.
He was great in it.
Yeah, he was. Was it Mills? Andy McDowell?
I did not know they're bringing back 90210. That is.
Yeah, you haven't seen the billboards? It's up there.
It's them grown up as adults. That's that's pretty fucking hilarious. It would be great if it was a comedy.
It would only have. No one's. Come on, man. No one's.
There's.
Hey, no one's watching that shit. Like, oh man, I to be honest with you, I was more of a Melrose Place guy than 90210. I'm not gonna lie. I was a big Melrose Place fan for a long time, dude. And if they ever brought that back, then I would probably look at it. But okay, you know what? So here's an example of a show like you couldn't bring back Like it'd be tough as fuck for you to bring back.
Different strokes, because 2 are dead and 2 are in prison.
Well, that's okay. So here's another show. Three's Company.
Right.
I mean, John Ritter's gone, but if you try to bring that back, like what actors could you see playing those roles and bringing to it the energy that those original people brought to it? There is never going to be another John Ritter.
They couldn't do a down the road. They could do a remake of that for sure. But also, could they do it nowadays with? They would have to completely change the plot because they couldn't do all the gay jokes.
She said 90210 ho.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Exactly. They couldn't do that. But Jackie just said Shaft. Did you see Shaft, the remake?
No.
Let me tell you what they did with Shaft that I think people are pissed off about. The first Shaft, the first remake with Shaft, Sam Jackson pulled it off. I'm not gonna lie. And the second one wasn't shitty, but what they did with the first one was it was more of a serious plot. I remember I just watched this. It came on cable, and I was like, oh, that's right. The first one was more serious. This one, they made like a comedy.
Right.
And that's why I think people were pissed off about it. It was like, come on, man. The first one was great. Just kind of take that same energy, and you made it so comical. But it's the only thing that pulls it off is that it's Sam Jackson, and you're like, all right.
And for me, if you're going to do that, first off, it was already done. If you're going to do that, just do a fucking Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite is fucking hilarious, and it spoofs all of those, and it's meant to be funny because those movies were, if you watch them back, those movies, they were kind of serious, but it was just so with the 70s with like the collars, like all those old Pam Grier movies where the pimp's always dressed like a king with a crown on. I'm King George, and you're like, what the fuck? It's so over the fucking top. It's only funny when you spoof it.
Ashton Kutcher, that's another one. A lot of people will say,
"Oh, ruined 2.5 Men."
Ruined 2.5 Men. I'm not gonna lie, I could totally see how that makes sense because first of all, the plot of this new dude moves in and he just lets the dude stay at the house. It's a stretch.
I didn't watch it to begin with, but yeah, it's this over here, Jackie. So at the same time, Corey and Jackie both say on separate threads, Eddie Murphy Dolomite.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, and with Mel says
Mr. Drunk.
Ving Rhames. Mel says Ving Rhames. But no, you know what? Now here's what I will do. I am definitely gonna go see. Oh, that's what we got to talk about.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy coming back.
Oh yeah.
In Netflix. That's what we got to talk about next. But I'm interested to see
so
this.
Eddie Murphy they're doing a Dolomite.
They're doing a Dolomite movie for Netflix.
Is it a Dolomite comedy or is it Dolomite?
Come on, man. You can't have. There's no way in the world. Now, don't get me wrong. Eddie Murphy can act. You know, Dreamgirls showed you that. Dreamgirls showed you that this dude can take a serious role. And I don't know. I didn't see the other one he did. Where
Boomerang?
Stop. No, but he played the serious role like a guy. It came out in the theaters, limited release. I don't know what happened to it. I can't think of the name of the movie. But if anybody know the name of Jackie will know the name of the serious movie Eddie Murphy did not too long ago.
The Nutty Professor.
Daddy
Daycare.
Hey,
that was.
You know what, Mel? Jimmy Walker's asking the same question. Where is he? But
I worked with Jimmy Walker not too long ago.
I heard he's a dick.
He was cool. I had breakfast with him. But he's kind of a dick. But he was cool. I heard he's like a super Republican. Wasn't he?
Don't even get me
I heard he was fucking Ann Coulter.
Yeah, which
I don't know if that's true or not. But that is hilarious.
I put that under the same category as the Kardashian succubus. They all get in there. But Dolomite.
Could you imagine though? Just everyone stop for a second. Ann Coulter
and Jimmy.
And
I know.
Jimmy Dynamite, JJ Walker. Like,
dude,
could you imagine?
This pussy is dynamite.
And she's like, send it back.
Hilarious. I couldn't resist that. Sorry. Okay. Let's see what man.
Mr. Church.
Mr. Church. That's what it was. I don't know if you saw Mr. Church, Jackie.
I actually thought it looked good, but
that's what I thought too.
I never watched it. I just saw the preview.
Okay.
It looked all right.
So my point to that is that Eddie can do serious roles, but there's no way he's doing Dolomite and not putting some comedic spin on it. Because Dolomite was a character. It's not like Dolomite was a Shakespearean dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so there's got to be some character to it, some comedy to it. Oh, she has not seen it. I wonder. I've been wondering what it was like. Okay, so. All right, so let's talk about this Eddie Murphy thing. All right.
Ann Coulter and Jimmy Walker.
Baby Uncle Ruckus. That's right. I didn't tell you something. I used to do a really good Uncle Ruckus. All right, so let me ask you this. Did you know this? Did you know?
I heard that Eddie Murphy's doing a Netflix special.
Yeah, 70 mil. $70 million they giving him for it.
Yeah, that's not gonna bring that to the fucking. They're not gonna get $70 million worth of fucking Netflix subscriptions.
Dude,
they're just fucking printing money.
Here we go. Here we go. Ian Harris, do you think Eddie Murphy deserves $70 million for a Netflix special?
No.
Why not?
Because Eddie Murphy. Well, okay, let me take.
See?
Here's the thing. If you're talking about does his comedic talent as a stand-up comedian deserve that, the answer is not in a million fucking years. I would rather see any fucking person. I mean, not anybody. I'd love to see what he does, but he's not.
Screech.
You're not paying. You didn't pay Chris Rock that. You didn't pay. Although you paid close to that, you paid decent to Dave Chappelle. There's a lot of really. Where's fucking?
That's why I asked, because I knew Jackie was gonna react like that.
Well, but if you're gonna talk about his celebrity net worth and what he's worth as a commodity,
right?
Sure, but by that number, let's pay Quentin Tarantino $70 million to do a stand-up special. But he doesn't do stand-up. Neither does fucking Kevin Smith, but they gave him fucking millions of dollars to do a Showtime. Brendan Schaub, he's been doing comedy 3.5 weeks, and they gave him a Showtime special. Are you fucking kidding me? So the thing is that, yeah, Eddie Murphy's a fucking icon, and he should do it. If he wants to do a special, do a special. But that's 2.5 times what anyone's gotten to do a special. And let's be honest, his first one, his album that wasn't even the comedian, Eddie Murphy comedian, good. It was funny. It was the thing that got me started doing comedy.
Jackie's about to reach through the fucking phone.
What? Are you serious? You don't think the first one was good? Delirious was great because it was all his characters. Raw was hack as fuck. Raw was not that good.
Oh shit, Jackie's here. No, just kidding.
Raw had some good moments. When he did he did the Richard Pryor impression, which kind of all of Raw was the Richard Pryor impression. But he did the Richard Pryor impression. He did the Bill Cosby impression. That shit was, when he does characters, he's great. But when he's like, the half of Raw was fucking.
Yeah, he's just
men be cheating. You're blah blah blah, and it's like okay. I mean, it was just like it's. Your man too. Yes, your man too. It's like all that shit that he did was like, It was really It wasn't that great. So so he's done 3-hour specials. 2 were good, really solid. Obviously, somewhat iconic. Delirious was iconic. Okay. Raw was Compare that to Richard Pryor.
Okay, so here. So
let's disagree?
No.
Richard Pryor, George Carlin, fucking blowing him out of the water. As comedians, as comedic actors, he's top 2 or 3.
I
movies, I mean, fucking all the movies he did in the 80s and Saturday Night Live, he fucking saved Saturday Night Live. The guy's a fucking amazing, but his stand-up is...
Here, Eddie says, Mel says, Eddie's franchise, Raw was great. And Pryor and Eddie are iconic. Jackie wants to kill you.
No, hold on. Jackie says Raw was hack, but good. I agree. I saw Raw in the theater, but I'm just saying half the stuff was rehashed Richard Pryor.
Okay. So here's my thoughts on it, and I asked you because I do agree with you to a degree. Actually, I agree with more so than you think. Here's my thing. If you're talking about viewership and people tuning in that are going to go on Netflix,
right,
get a subscription, steal their friend's access code,
right,
Eddie Murphy will make them do that. Most definitely.
He will bring numbers, for sure.
People will click on and they will watch, even if they just want to see this dude on stage telling jokes.
No, absolutely.
They will do that. If they do that alone, Netflix is thinking, okay, that alone is worth that money. Now, let's go to the comedic part of it. Let's go to the straight stand-up, because you know how I feel about Eddie Murphy. He's one of the reasons why I started being a comedian. But once I became a comedian and once I started studying comedy more, once I started performing more.
The last leather special.
Hilarious, I know, right? But once I started studying comedy more, I had to put Eddie where I honestly felt he was as just a stand-up. As an icon, as a force in this business, you can't talk about comedy without talking about this person, Eddie Murphy is either one or two. There.
And he's also probably the reason. He was definitely more of the reason for me getting into comedy than Pryor or Carlin originally.
Right.
Because he was accessible to me as a kid.
Right.
I watched him on SNL. I watched Delirious. I had the Eddie Murphy cassette tape when I was in like junior high. And then I went and found more. I really started paying attention to Richard Pryor. I really started paying attention
Right.
to George Carlin. I started paying attention to other comedians because I got into comedy originally from Eddie Murphy.
Right. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
But that's why I say that alone gives him the right to do this and say, you know what, I'm Eddie Murphy.
For sure.
People want to see me, and they will. Now let's talk about just the stand-up part. Okay.
And Jackie says every legend is dead. He deserves it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but I'm just saying from a business standpoint, $70 million. That's a lot. He might bring that.
But that's what I'm telling you. From a business standpoint, that's what they're looking at it as.
But from a whose comedy?
No. Okay. So let's come to that. Now, if we're talking straight stand-up, no, Eddie is not in my top 10 anymore. That does not mean he's not one of the funniest people to ever touch a microphone. He is, no doubt. Raw and Delirious are still classic comedies.
Right.
You can watch them, but again, like you said, sometimes you'll watch it.
As a comedian, you
look at it and like, man. But again,
not Delirious. Delirious was great.
Right. So to me, I feel like the pressure for him to come with this is gonna be ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. I'm talking about, but now this is
Eddie. If you're watching, he's trying to get a writing job.
Which brings me to the next point. This brings me to the next point. So now, because I asked Jackie this a couple days ago.
I'm deleting you, Tom.
Hilarious. But we talked about this, Jackie. I told you that he's still one of my all-time greatest influencers in this business, and he still is. But if you're asking me just straight stand-up, I've seen other comedians, Patrice, Chappelle, Rock, who's Franklin Ajayi to me is funny. I said Patrice, but Corey Holcomb. I'm not gonna lie, Corey makes me laugh. Godfrey. I've seen people that I think on a consistent basis do that, and that does not mean that they're anywhere near Eddie as far as star status. But as far as just making me laugh, that's that. But so my whole point is that he's gonna need a team of writers. Take yourself out of it. Ian Harris is not in the running. Ty Barnett is not in the running. Jackie is not in the running. You got to put a team of writers.
Man.
Hilarious. You got to put a team of writers together for Eddie Murphy. Who you putting? Who you got?
Let's see. Jackie.
Everybody in this room is excluded.
You mean
who?
Who's
Jack Knight?
Jack Knight, he just did a comedy Central Half Hour. He's young coming up. Good.
Well, now here's the thing. Is he trying to? Because Eddie Murphy was. Hold on. Eddie Murphy was never a black. He's kind of like Chappelle. I don't consider Chappelle a quote unquote black comic.
Gary Owen.
In that he was trying to only go after black audiences. He wasn't doing Def Jam. Chappelle always. I worked with him so many times in the day, and we worked Sacramento and San Francisco and places that are a lot of white people and a lot of mixed people, a lot of different.
Jackie said no to Jack.
Yeah. But someone like Chappelle, I think he's writing, Neil Brennan, white. So he wasn't writing just to a black audience.
Right.
Is Eddie Murphy writing to a worldwide audience, or is he writing to a black audience?
Okay, no, okay. So here we go.
Because that's going to change.
So this is why I said
Number one, you hired Doug Stanhope. That motherfucker can write.
Okay.
Now it'd be way too edgy for Eddie, though. Maybe.
But so here we go. So let me.
But
tell
I don't
you,
know. Eddie can get away with some edgy shit.
Let me tell you who I think. I already said Wanda. Wanda's already there.
Wanda
said
Sykes?
Neil. But he just said Neil Brennan. But now here's the thing. It can't. I personally don't think it should be anybody new. The reason why I say that is
what about Chappelle?
Chappelle definitely.
But do you think Chappelle a guy who makes $40 million a special would write for someone else?
Yeah. It's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
But so here's why I say this. I would not pick any new cats because Eddie Murphy's not trying to get a new audience. The people who are with Eddie already. They already here for him. That doesn't mean the new cats can't do it. It just means that voice, he's not going for that voice. He needs to be 30s up. 35 up. That's who he's writing for. So, or that's who he's performing for. So you say Vargas? Who said Vargas? Vargas Mason? Really? No disrespect to Vargas, but I didn't even know Vargas was a writer like that. But I had, in all due respect, I haven't seen Vargas in a long time. So no disrespect. And Vargas is cool. I have not seen him in a long time. So maybe you know something I don't, Mel.
Can I tell you who is one of these guys that's super prolific, and been around forever. And his comedy is one of those things where it drives me nuts because one joke will be the shittiest, dumbest, fucking hackiest joke I've ever seen in my life. And the next joke will be like, God damn, that was brilliant. And that's fucking, oh, great. Now I'm drawing a fucking blank. What's his name? Eddie Griffin.
I brought up Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin does like 20 minutes about Jesus being unreal, and then the next thing is like, I'm fucking pussy, and you're like, what are you talking about? Like, how the fuck did that come?
I brought up Eddie Griffin, and I think
sometimes his shit. Sometimes you hear it, you go, how the fuck is this? And if he had all that shit collected, you'd be like, this dude's amazing. Yeah. But then all the other shit fucking pollutes.
So I gotta. No, Vargas is awesome. Vargas is awesome. I'm just saying I haven't seen Vargas' stand-up in a long time, and I did not know that he had a voice that would fit with Eddie Murphy. So maybe that's on me, and I got to watch. You know, he's a little angry, though. He shouldn't be. Shit, all them fucking voiceover gigs this motherfucker's doing.
To the extension.
Hilarious. Oh, yeah, it's funny. Did you see that joke?
No.
I'll tell you the joke in a second. I thought it was a good joke, and we can talk about that in a second. But... So who do we say?
Not Angela Johnson.
No, fuck no. So
Eddie be like, in the nails. No.
So Kathy actually, I remember Kathy's stand up. She could probably be in the room because Kathy has that old voice too, and she has a I don't give a fuck attitude. So that's true.
Who's isn't that Cheryl Underwood? Does she write still? She's like a writer, isn't she? Does she write for a TV show now? I think she's like an actual comedy writer.
Oh, might be. Okay, so wait a minute. So who do we say? Wanda Sykes for sure. Chappelle. The reason here's why I've been hesitant to say Chris Rock is because I know Wanda used to write for Chris.
Right.
So I'm kind of like you would kind of have that.
No, and I mean
Seinfeld. Would you say Seinfeld?
Seinfeld's such a different style.
Right.
I think Neil Brennan could work because he wrote so much with Chappelle.
Yeah.
And I think you need to bring in diverse the other direction. That's kind of fun. Yeah. You need to bring in a diverse group. Like I said, I would love to see somebody super edgy like a Stanhope, or if he was still around, Sean Rouse.
Oh, I remember Sean. Yeah.
You know, somebody who Attell. Somebody who's just Attell's so unique though to what he does.
But I know, and that's what I'm saying. Attell would be Eddie. Eddie still is a smooth dude.
Yeah, no, Attell's too Attell.
Yeah, Mario Joyner.
Oh, Mario Joyner. Mario Joyner would be a great one.
Joyner,
and if you want Chris Rock, Mario Joyner basically
the same thing. That's what I say. Mario Joyner.
He wrote for Chris. He was on the Mario Joyner for sure could be.
Now we had a debate about the weigh-ins. We brought the weigh-ins in this. It's only two options. We're not going to the whole family. Sean, I'm just kidding. But
you mean SW1?
Damon or Keenan. You can only pick one.
Damon definitely is better for stand-up. Keenan is the smarter, better writer of the two.
Okay.
Like when you watch,
you only get picked one.
I'm just saying, like if you're watching sketches and things like that, Keenan is obviously a superior intellect in the writing cleverness. But when you watch just being funny on stage and stuff that works for that,
Damon.
It's Damon, but Eddie can do that. Damon writes to Damon.
Right.
Like all those characters, like he does,
and that's why that's why I say Keenan, because Keenan, first of all, Keenan used to work with Robert Townsend and all these guys, so he knows how to.
Robert Townsend was fucking hilarious to me.
He was until he became a dick. But besides. But the thing with Keenan is that Keenan can see what you're doing,
right,
and he can help you play to your strength.
Here's somebody that no one's ever going to think of because he's not a stand-up comic, but he's a fucking great writer, and he's really political, and he's of that generation. Rusty Cundiff.
Yeah, but I ain't seen Rusty do anything besides CB4. I mean, not CB4, but Fear of a Black Hat.
Oh no, he's done a ton of stuff, and he used to be on that Michael Moore show. One of the funniest sketches you'll ever fucking see in your life. He was on that Michael Moore show. Michael Moore had two different shows where he just went after shit politically. And on the Michael Moore show, he did this thing where the Mississippi or Missouri hadn't ratified the Emancipation Proclamation yet.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 90s, and they still hadn't fucking signed it into law.
Okay.
So it was still legal to own slaves.
Mm-hmm.
So Rusty Cundiff went down and bought slaves. They did an ad in the paper, and he had 6 white dudes on a chain.
Hilarious.
And he was walking around Mississippi with 6 white dudes on a chain, and it was this whole little documentary piece.
All right, I gotta watch it.
Oh my God! He shuts the trunk on it. He gets all the slaves out of the trunk, and he shuts his trunk, and the trunk bumper sticker says, "How's my slave driving?" It's the funniest.
funny.
And he's
funny.
golfing, and the slaves are picking up his thing, and the senator's a black man. He's reading a book called "The South Was Right," and they're laughing, and he's like, "Man, he's trying on some pants. Like, I gained some weight since I got all these slaves." It's hilarious. And he tries to take him down to the cops, and the cop was like trying to be in on it, but you could tell it was a white cop that was upset, and he's like, "So tomorrow they're signing it. Do I have to let these guys go?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, yes you do." He's like, "I'm kind of like them though. What would happen if I actually kept my slaves after tomorrow?" And the white guy was, "Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to arrest you." And you could tell he was trying to play along, but in reality, he was like, "I don't like this."
Oh, sure.
God damn, it was funny, dude. And then he lets them all go at the end and gives them names.
I gotta.
It's so fucking funny.
Okay, send me if you find the link.
The show is called the Big Something, but it was
I can find it on YouTube.
no Rusty Cundiff. I mean, he hasn't probably done a lot, but he made a movie. He's made a few movies. He's a good director. That guy though was a great writer.
No, he
social
was.
commentary. Paul Reiser, yes, Paul Reiser is actually. Jackie says Tom Papa, Jim Gaffigan would be good. Paul Reiser.
Those are actually really good, 3 good ones. Now here's who I didn't think, and I should have thought it up the other day. Paul Mooney.
Yeah, Paul Mooney for sure.
Mooney could do it. Paul Mooney has that voice that he's older than Eddie, so he knows kind of like this, and he still kind of stays in the.
Yeah, he would be so hard to work with.
Now, do you think? But let me ask you this: do you think?
I don't know. I'm unsure about Jim Gaffigan though, because I don't know that he's gonna be like, "What's going on?" That guy's talking
Well,
about
he would give him. You know what he would give him? He would give him the
Hot Pockets jokes.
Well, that's true too. But he would give him the voice, like you said. Seinfeld sometimes is a specific. Gaffigan would take common topics and be able to put the spin on it, and maybe Eddie can do his voice to it or whatever.
Jim Jeffries. Oh, Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, but Jim Jeffries has writers.
Yeah,
so
you
can get Jim Jeffries writers for that. Okay. So here, since now we've agreed that it is worth. Okay, so let me ask you something. Since you think $70 million is too much for Eddie, you're the head of Netflix. You're the head of Netflix. Eddie has no. So here's the thing. You're the head of Netflix. You've watched Eddie's special. It's ridiculously good. It's like you didn't even think it would be that fucking good.
It's Eddie Murphy Bring the Pain. Okay.
How much you giving him?
I mean, honestly, they think that $70 million is worth it, so I'm sure they know.
No. What are
better than I
you
do.
giving them
But
right
I'm saying,
now?
if I were in their position, I'd probably know that, and that's probably what I would give. Right? I mean, I'm looking at like you gave Chris Rock $30 million for 2.
Right.
You gave Chappelle what, $50 million for 3 or 4 or something like that? Was it $40 million or for 4?
I thought he only did 2.
He did 2, but there were 2 doubles.
Oh, yeah.
So it was 4.
Not bad for 4 hours work.
50 million maybe. 50 million? I don't know. I mean, he's a bigger icon than both of them, but I don't know, man.
So you're doing 50 million
in
for
comedy?
one?
In comedy, Chris Rock, when they gave Chris Rock his 30 million, he was bigger than Eddie was.
Yeah. But that's why I say I think you're talking about
Eddie has 10 kids. All right, 10 million.
Exactly.
100 million, 10 million per kid.
He needs that loot. Here's what I say. I would give him just alone the fact. I'm telling you, man. People will click in just to see Eddie Murphy on stage telling jokes, bro. It is, and I'm saying it as knowing that he's not in my top 10 anymore, but knowing that he's still, as soon as he drops it, I'm watching it.
But just put into perspective. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was made for $90 million. That entire production, paying Brad Pitt, paying all the people that were involved.
Brad Pitt ain't no Eddie Murphy.
I'm saying that was but that was $90 million. The entire budget of that movie.
Right.
It wasn't one dude on a stage with lights and a leather suit, right? It was huge productions and houses and 100 actors and Leonardo DiCaprio, all these fucking famous
all that location
all
fees.
that music, all that sort of shit was $90 million, and then theatrically worldwide, it's going to make several hundred million, so it's going to make a profit. But if you just did that 90 million and put it on Netflix, Netflix is a subscription-based thing that isn't going to go up and down that much based on a new movie. It basically goes up and down based on overall content. So I don't think they're going to get 70 million more subscribers because of it. It'll just be like, wow, look at this content we have. Here's a reason to stay with us. But if they get billions It's $10 minimum per month,
Right.
and they've got 60 million subscribers worldwide. So that's what $600 million a month or something like that they're making. They're making billions of dollars a year.
Yeah, so
off
they can give them
subscriptions.
70 mil.
They can. I'm just saying that it really doesn't translate to. If you put it in the theaters, it would make that money back for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make
he's
that
not gonna
money
do
for
that.
Netflix.
So now let me ask you. Well, I want to ask you about this comedian's comment who made the joke. I don't know.
Jackie said if only adults watch Netflix, they could recoup the money.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty. It really is it. I mean, adults will watch it. Adults will not. There's no way in the world if Eddie Murphy drops a special, no one's checking it out. That's not happening.
Right.
So there's the chick who did a joke, and I can't remember her name. Do you remember the girl's name who did the joke about the rapper Triple Extension? Yeah. But okay,
Extension.
yeah. So she did.
That is a horrible fucking.
Yeah, it's a horrible name.
What is it?
But
What's
so here's
Triple
it- so-
Extension. That is his name.
That's his
See, I've
name.
never heard him, so I didn't know what the fuck that was.
It's fine. You're not missing anything. But
Wait.
he's a rapper who was killed, and I'm not saying this because
Oh
it's-
no, yeah, I
I'm
know
not
you're
saying it
talking
because
about.
I'm not saying it because his life doesn't matter. I'm
No,
just
no, I know
saying
you're
that
talking
The dude
So
was
anyway,
killed. The dude got killed.
Yeah.
He got shot.
No.
And he used to always post these videos. Hilarious. And he used to always post these videos with him flashing money and all of this stuff, and
Right.
just putting it out there on social media that he got all of this money. And so one day, he was killed. He was robbed. They robbed him, took the money. He was on his way to buy a car, and then they killed him. So anyway, so that's the story. Here's the joke that the comedian did. She said, I'm trying to see. And at first I thought, because it was like the Comedy Central pulled the joke, and it was this big hype, like censorship. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe she said something racist. I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to see what she said. The joke is, she says, yeah, and I'm paraphrasing the joke. She's like, yeah, you guys, are you guys still mourning that rapper, Triple Extension? And she messes around with the name and all that. And she's like, yeah. Apparently, he was killed on his way to buy a car. He used to, flash all his money, and he was on his way to go buy a car, and he got killed because he had $50,000 cash on him, and they robbed him and killed him. And she said, as sad as that is, wouldn't that be a really great Venmo commercial? It's a funny bit. That's a funny fucking bit, bro. I watched it wanting to not like it.
Right.
I'm like, that's a great fucking joke. I mean,
Right.
I laughed. I was okay. Because I always tell people this, man. If you're a comedian and you're a fan of comedy, it's very hard for you not to laugh at something, even if you don't necessarily like the person that puts it out.
Right.
And I'm not saying it about this girl. I don't know anything about her. But the fact that she wrote that joke and the fact that you think about the absurdity of it, and you're like, yeah. But the problem isn't civilians getting mad at the joke. The problem was comedians.
Really?
Were trying to rip her. And I'm like, how are you?
For what?
Because they thought it was too soon or too offensive. I'm like, how?
It's not even offensive.
No, not at
That's
all. That's what tripped me out. I was bugging that so many comedians
That-
were trying to come at this chick. And I'm like, for what? It's a joke. It's a very well-written joke. So
Yeah, it doesn't even make any sense. I don't even know what's offensive about it. I'm trying to figure out what's offensive about it.
that's
He
right,
died.
Casamigos. But no, I don't. So I don't see. You didn't see a problem with that, right?
No.
There's not an issue with that joke. But so I think what made me mad about it was that it was comedians that were coming after. I'm like, yeah, if you want to let civilians talk shit about it, go ahead.
Right.
That's their job to critique that shit. But if you're in the business, what the problem is?
One of my I think I've repeated this a few times. She's not always my favorite comedian, but when she's on it. Janine Garofalo. One time I was watching her on it's a couple years ago when who's the Family Guy? What's his name?
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane hosted the Oscars, and he sang a song called I See Your Boobs" or something like that, and it was really dumb. It was like he was like, "And there's so and so, I've seen your boobs," and his whole song was about how girls that take their tops off in movies, and it's like all the actors says, "There's Scarlett Johansson, I've seen your boobs," and he sings some song, and people were like, "This is bullshit. I can't believe that he did this. It was so degrading to the women. And what if your kids are watching the Oscars and all he's doing is singing about boobs?" And people were there. And so on Bill Maher show, they were talking about whether or not it was offensive and whether or not Seth MacFarlane should be in trouble for singing "I Sing Your Boobs" and "I See Your Boobs." And did he upset the women? And was he all this sort of stuff? And they were going through the whole panel. And then and Janine Garofalo goes, "Well, personally, I mean, I wouldn't let my kids watch it. And he goes, really? Why is that? She goes, no, not that it's offensive, just that it's horrible comedy writing. She goes, I don't let my kids watch that stuff. I wouldn't let my kids watch horrible writing. I was like, that's pretty funny.
But yeah,
I'm only offended by the bad fucking jokes.
But that's why I say I don't understand. Like that was a little bit too hypersensitive for me because I'm like, come on, dude, stop it. It's a great joke. Stop it with the bullshit. Okay, so where we at? Where we at in the show? Because I need to know.
We got about 15 minutes, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. What do you
know what? Let's since we didn't get there, let's take a turn. Let's take a little bit of a turn. We've been talking about some fun stuff. Let's talk about some stuff we got to fucking talk about. It's fun to me. So the debates were last night. There's another set of debates tonight.
Did you get to watch them?
I didn't get to watch them all. I watched the highlights because I got to it late, and I watched all the wrap-ups. I'm
liking Warren more, man.
So if you watch the debates, like CNN afterward did a great wrap. MSNBC afterward did a great wrap-up. I think C-SPAN did a wrap-up.
Fox act like nothing was happening.
Fox News, they were doing the whatever happened to Barney the dinosaur.
Yeah.
It was like nothing to see here. But everyone was saying that Elizabeth Warren just fucking smashed it again. But I did see this weird thing.
Wait, hold on before you do that, real quick. To your point of what you just said, I know you just made a joke about it, but when I was in Vegas, there was a guy working at the club, and he's a Trump supporter, and he's trying to go off on everything, all the talking points. AOC is horrible, blah, 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 everything that Fox will tell you.
Right.
And so I brought up the fact that Mitch McConnell, and we'll talk about this in a second, because I want you to lead into it, but I brought up the Mitch McConnell thing,
right?
And the dude said, I don't know about that. And I'm like, wait, so you don't know that the head of the GOP, after Mueller's testimony, is blocking any further protections for further voter, for any interference? You don't know that at all. He said, no, I didn't read anything about it. It's scary, bro. These motherfuckers don't. They're not seeing it. But go ahead.
Not seeing what?
Hilarious. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They're not seeing it. Yeah. So anyway, there was a whole talk. Everyone said Elizabeth Warren killed it and all blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing that I saw that was kind of interesting. And I'm not saying to play to the polls. I'm saying you need to change the polls. There were two things that came up to me. One was a guy on one of the networks he showed a thing about, it was 3 topics that the super progressives talked about. One I agree with, or 1 or 2 I agree with, 1 or 2 I didn't agree with. I can't remember which ones they were, but I only remember 2 off the top of my head. And he was showing the support among Democrats, and then he'd swipe among the support among all Americans.
Right.
Showing that, yes, we're seeing, wow, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders killed it. Everyone wants this. Everyone was cheering. He's like, this was a Democratic debate. When you talk about that debate on the national scale, it's underwater. So one of the ones, which I'm not for, is it's not open borders, but they're saying she's taught, and I love Elizabeth Warren. She's who I'm voting for. And, I can't agree with her on 100% of things. But there's a thing about...
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he just said? He said he's still going to vote for her, even though he doesn't agree with everything that she says, but he still feels like she's the best candidate. So far, she's the best
for me.
See, that's how adults do it.
But anyway, she is for decriminalizing anyone who comes across the border, something basic.
Right.
And that's like 50%, 53% or something like that of Democrats agreed. It was right around 50-50. But when you look at that nationally, it was like 27 to 63% said no. So that's a bad point, because what they mean is anyone who's over the border, they just decriminalize it. It's not illegal to come over the border. You can just come over whenever you want. That's kind of like open borders. I don't think that's a smart thing. And so
that's one of the policies you don't agree with.
Right. And that was one of the things that was, I mean, I have to look at it more, but my point is that, is that going to be a sticking point? Because because the border is a big fucking deal right now, and everyone's talking about it. And they're just going to go, she wants open borders, she wants open borders.
That's all they're going to do. That's all they're going to do.
So I think she needs to say, hey, we need to take a look at better ways to get them through the process legally, and that's the and that is the real answer. The real answer is we don't just shut them out. We don't just fucking take their kids. We don't just put them in cages. But when they come over, we fucking hire more people to process it properly,
which, by the way, creates
and vet
jobs.
Them, yes, and vet them and get them through the system better. Okay, and then we can figure out what works based on the numbers of getting people in and whatnot. The other one that was on there is they kept saying free healthcare for illegals, free healthcare for illegals. And a lot of the progressives are like, yes, they're going to get free healthcare. And people are like, no, why do they get free healthcare? But what they're doing is they're not explaining this stuff. Okay, first off, it is not free. Please listen to me. It is not free. No one ever says, "Oh, what about free military? Oh, what about free infrastructure?" No, our taxes go to a pool, and then we decide how to divvy those taxes up. 50-some% of it goes to the fucking military, which isn't going to veterans.
I just want to be very clear that the people who are making the laws about people's health care get better health care than the people who are complaining about the health care.
Right. And much better health care than the idiot Trump supporters who don't want health care. But you could take 7% of that, and Elizabeth Warren says, we're going to charge 2 cents per dollar on the billionaires, and that will cover the health care. So and even Elizabeth Warren, he said, quit saying, and that will provide free health care. No, it won't provide free health care. It will provide health care. So I'm going to put in $1,000 a year of my taxes, $10,000 a year of my taxes. The trick is, do I want 8,000 of that to go to buy more whatever bombers and shit that we don't need?
Or make sure you have healthy people.
Or maybe take 1,000 of that and make sure that everyone is covered. Here's the other thing. Quit with the us versus them mentality. When they say, oh, illegals are going to get it, but I don't have it. Yes, you're right. You don't have it.
But it's not the illegals' fault.
And the illegals aren't going to get it instead of you, you fucking hillbilly. And it's like when we talked about this before. If I go to Paris and I break my arm in Paris, they don't put me in a cage. They don't send me back to America. They just fix my fucking arm because I'm in their country. And even if I'm there legally or illegally or on vacation, they have a healthcare system that is not free.
But what I told you,
it is open to everybody because it's paid for by the citizens, so that everyone is covered. If I come in with this fucking bird flu, it's better for their overall health to do something about my bird flu than to just ignore me.
Well,
so yes, if someone comes over and they're illegal and they break their arm, yes, they're going to get health care. But so will fucking everybody.
I have to tell you, the reason why that is not going to, why it doesn't resonate with these people is because of what America was founded on. It is founded on a us versus them.
Right.
Basis.
Well,
everything about this country has been a us versus them.
Right.
And it's always been about a hierarchy, a status, and all of that. So these people are feeling like, well, shit, why should I have to share health care with that person that wasn't even born here?
Right.
Now, instead of being mad at the person that is not making it possible for you and that person.
So they'd rather have no health care than make sure a Mexican guy can have health care.
Dude,
it's fucking nuts.
It's nuts, but it's also at the core of why we have the issues that we have. Let me tell you something. Only in this country, only in America, can rich people that already have their shit together convince poor people that don't have their shit together that the people that are poorer than them that don't have their shit together even more are the fucking problem.
Right.
So when you have this...
But I think you can convince those people with the right language. Not all of them, a chunk of them, enough to get it through. These people, the problem is that they watch Fox News and they think that Elizabeth Warren wants to give illegals free health care that they pay for and that they won't get health care. That's literally what they think. Yeah. And they also think it's going to cost them a ton of money. No, we're not charging you anymore. And if we did charge you another 2% on your taxes, what is that? Another $300 a year for your
fucking...
think about it, dude. What are you paying in premiums for your insurance now? More than fucking $300 a year.
You might as well be talking a foreign language because to them, all they know is color and status. This is what... Let me tell you something, dude. When you watch this dude talk, because something to Corey's point, Corey just said, great point. They don't want to think of shit like that. They don't want to think of what you just said. Everything you just said went in one ear and out the other for them because what you're saying makes more sense. You went logistics, you went numbers. They don't give a fuck about that. All they care about is what you look like and where you are. That's all they give a fuck about. Now, I want to say this. So now here's the thing. When you watch this dude talk, and a lot of people, we get on him because the dude is stupid and he's an ignorant, racist motherfucker. But when he talks to his base, he talks to them
like a 3-year-old.
And they totally feel like, I get it. He said brown people bad, white people good.
Right.
America good, anyone else bad. Rich people help us, poor people hurt us. That's all they hear.
Right.
So to them, they...
But that's my point is about the language. Like this is what they could do. When they say, so do you think illegals illegals should have health care, what they should just say is, under my plan, all Americans are going to have health care. Yeah, health care will not be free. Health care will be provided.
What up, Jason?
And when they go, where's the money going to come from? Rich people and taxes that you're already paying.
The rich people that you gave a huge tax break to.
Right. And the taxes that you're already paying.
And you didn't vote for those tax breaks. They just gave it to them, by the way. I want to be very clear about that.
And you also didn't vote for the free military. What about, I don't want free wars. I don't remember paying for free war. Where are all these free wars coming from? What about all these free corporate fucking welfare? I don't remember asking to give free F-15 bombers or whatever the fuck they're called. They're free. You're telling me they're free. Well, no, our taxes are paying for them. That's what would happen with healthcare. You fucking ignorant retard. So no, it's not free. We pay for it, but we just would not pay for something that we don't need. Doesn't anybody remember no taxation without representation?
Yeah. Oh, they gave that shit
what the
up on
fuck do you think? It's not representation to be giving it to rich people and giving it to the military that we don't need. We don't need another fucking aircraft carrier.
I'm telling you, though, again, he talks to these people in a way that makes them feel that he is looking out for them, even though statistically,
but you
can
could
see
do that on the other side by saying, hey, we're gonna give good, wholesome Americans
covered.
We're gonna give you no medical bills. No medical bills.
No.
White people, no medical bill. White people, no medical bill. Elizabeth Warren. White people, no medical bills.
Exactly. You come up with the little sock puppet. You pay nothing. I pay nothing. No, you pay nothing.
It's free. No, it's not. It's provided by rich people. Yay! Rich people are helping you. Yay!
Oh, my God.
It's trickle-down healthcare. Yay!
Trickle-down Elmo.
Trickle me Elmo.
Trickle me Elmo. But again, dude, I'm telling you, the reality is
funny bit.
These people don't. Let me tell you what the easiest thing is to do. Is to trick somebody into feeling like everybody else is the enemy except you.
Right.
That's the easiest thing to do. And what this guy has done. So
make the rich people the enemy.
No, but because again, dude, the rich people look like them. If this was Obama saying all of this stuff, no.
Call them toothy Americans.
Hilarious. But
look at the teeth that guy's got. This. He's hoarding all the teeth.
Think about this, dude. The tax breaks they gave. Most Americans voted against that. They didn't want that, and they still gave it to them anyway.
Right.
Anyway. They're still coming out of people's Medicare. They don't give a fuck what people say. Most people didn't want the wall. Not only did he get the money for the wall, he stole the money from the military to build the wall. Americans did not want this.
Right.
Most people did not. So they are still telling these people, hey, this is what we're doing. But again, the only reason they are able to do this is because they keep telling them that brown people are bad. Brown people coming here are bad. Let me tell you something, dude. There was a meme, there's a cartoon, not a meme, a cartoon of this dude, old white guy, fat dude on one of the motorized scooters.
Like a rascal.
Yeah, is that what it is?
A rascal or a lark.
So, but he's riding through a town, and he's like, all these goddamn illegals are ruining the goddamn country. And then in the background, you see a dude working on the lawn. You see a dude working on the roof. You see a dude working on plumbing. You see they're doing all this stuff to beautify the area. And they're all Mexicans. They're all Hispanics. But it's the guy on a with a MAGA hat, like ruining the goddamn country. This is the core and the essence of what we are. This is why this dude will probably get another term. Because let me tell you something, because I saw your notes and we didn't get it, but we should go into it real quick because people need to know about this.
But we can always, we got debates coming up tonight. We can always do it again later this week.
Just so you guys know, for the people that are still here and the people out there that are watching and listening, right now, after Mueller gave his testimony, saying, now let me just be very clear again. Here's what's not a partisan issue. Here's what's not a them versus us. Here's a fact. It has been concluded that Russia interfered in the election.
And they still are.
Yes.
By all accounts.
Yes. It has been concluded that they did
all
so.
All 50 states.
Yeah, all 50 states. It's been concluded that they did it for one person, The dude that's in office now.
Well, let's also state though, and to bring down our government.
Yes.
They don't just want to help Donald Trump. They want to help Donald Trump because they know he's a fucking moron, and they know he'll do his bidding, and they know he'll bring down our democracy.
Exactly.
That's why they want that. But
So-
that's what they ultimately want.
So this is all fact. So even if you are a Trumpster and you do care about America, you love America so much, you be humping the fucking flag, you love it so much.
Just like Trump. Yeah,
You know,
flag.
if you are that person that loves this country so much, tell me why is it you're not upset that Mitch McConnell is personally by himself blocking the bills that, by the way, Republicans and Democrats both agreed should happen to avoid any further cyber attacks.
Right.
Tell me why, as an American, you're not pissed at
I
that.
actually put there's on my page. If everyone here should be a friend of mine on Facebook, I just posted to on there today. What is today? Wednesday the 31st. I posted it. Let me see if I. There's a Shep Smith who's actually a Fox guy. There's a video of Shep Smith talking about that and the things that are on there because Mitch McConnell comes out and says, I don't want these. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. Blah blah blah. Whatever. It's all partisan, and he's like, how is it partisan to want paper ballots? There's nothing partisan about wanting paper ballots. There's nothing partisan about any of this shit. But he's like, I'm not going to pass because it's just a way to slide in partisan legislation. There's nothing partisan in it. And here's the thing. If there was something partisan in it, like one thing, you know what you could do? You could ask you could rewrite the bill without that one thing in it and get the things that are good in there. It's not that fucking hard. They've done it before. They did it with Obamacare. They sure as fucked over Obamacare, and they didn't put in the original Affordable Care Act that we know.
I guess my problem is Corey said two things. He said it's not about what they get. It's they're worried about who gets what. That's exactly it. The other thing he says is, why are they so cool with Russia? Like we weren't at war. Exactly, we were at war with these people. But this is what I'm saying. You can trick people to give up their freedoms and their democracies if you make them feel like everyone else is the enemy. It is, dude. I got to be honest with you, bro. I did not think it was going to be this easy. I got to be honest with you. I didn't think it was going to be this easy to trick these goofy motherfuckers into doing this.
Right.
But the number one reason why it is this easy is because at the core of America, and I keep saying it until the day I die, is that it was founded off of greed, deception, theft, slavery, and status. All those things. And these people are willing to give up all of that shit, even if it takes the help of another fucking country, just so they can still say that they're on top, even though they're still living in a trailer park. They're still getting their Medicare taken away from them. They still might not have Social Security when they get older, and they still may not have a democracy.
Yep.
So
I know. They don't care. They don't care.
they don't. And I hate to say it, bro, because
We'll talk.
we got to go. We kept it live for 45 minutes.
Yes.
Yay!
But
New
it's hard.
record.
But anyway, hey, you know, we'll pick it up. Maybe we'll do another one this week. Talk about it after the watch the debates tonight if this goes out. If not, see if you can find a replay of it if this goes out afterward. I'm not sure when this will air on iTunes and whatnot, but if you're watching us live on Facebook, watch the debates tonight. And then make a comment. Go to my page and watch the Shep Smith video about Mitch McConnell. It's pretty.
I really
pretty
just don't understand why, like, they're doing it in plain sight now, bro.
Yeah.
He's coming out telling you, I am not going to protect America's elections I am personally not going to protect
because he is
it.
completely funded and compromised by Russia, and we know this. We know this. We've seen it. It's not even news anymore. It's old. We know that Mitch McConnell is completely complicit. That's why they're calling him Moscow Mitch. And don't let up. He's fucking Moscow Mitch.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go. Find him, comedian Ty Barnett.
ComedianTyBarnett.com has links to all the stuff and all of that.
IanHarrisComedian.com. And please be sure to like us, rate us, review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. You can go to our patreon.com/critical and thinking. Please share it. Please tell people about it. Please help us build this and give us some suggestions of stuff you want us to talk about, guests you want us to have on. We like to have guests on. We haven't done that in a little while. So, please do that. And that's it. We'll
Critical
see
and
you.
Thinking Podcast, Ty Barnett.
Ian Harris, see you.
Cheers.